Alright, next room that we have here is the security network architecture. This one's it's a pretty good one. It's kind of long. I got stumped on one of these. But looking at the first questions on the first task, how many trunks are present in this configuration? Four. And then how you find out what trunks are. There we go. So the connection between the switch and the router is known as a trunk. VLANs are routed through the switch port, requiring only one trunk connection between the switch and the router, hence on a stick. So looking at that, I think a bridge would be a trunk. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what is the VLAN tag for interface ETH12? So just look up here. There we go. There's your answer. And throw it in right there. Alright. For the table above, what zone would a user connecting to a public web server be in? The answer is external. So you see right here, all devices and entities outside of our network or access control. Devices connecting to a web server would be an example, which is someone connecting to a web server. From the table above, what zone would a public web server be in? DMZ. You have your DMZ zone right here. And from the table above, what zone would a core domain controller be placed in? And answer is restricted. Right here. Network security, policies, and controls. This one's talking about like traffic filtering with ACLs, access control list, ACEs, access control entry. And then going through this one, I had a difficult time seeing the difference between the two. I think there was something small that I noticed, like the destination port. But aside from that, I didn't see anything too different between these two. So I got my answer just from kind of looking at this area right here. So according to the corresponding ACL policy, will the first packet result in a drop or accept? And then I just looked at that. It's action permit. And then the second one will drop or accept, and just went with action deny. Right. Zone pair policies and filtering. This is the one that I kind of got stomped on a little bit. I was kind of understanding it a little bit on how, like, these have their mismatch partners to each other and how to set that up. But when it came to doing the task, I guess on the view site, doing this here, I actually had to look up the answer just because I almost had it. I was pretty close when I first did it, but from what was provided in the information, I just kind of had a hard time finding that answer right there. But so I had to look up the answer to that one, and that's what the answer you get for that. Validating network traffic. This one was pretty short. This was a quick and easy one. Does SSL inspection require a man-in-the-middle proxy? right here you can see, some of you may have already noted that this requires an SSL proxy or a man in the middle. So that's where it requires a man in the middle. What platform processes data sent from an SSL proxy? Unified threat management. And that would be... Where is it? Oh, right there. Unified Threat Management Platform, so UTM. Right, and then addressing common attacks. So DHCP snooping. What this one is pretty much saying is what it will do, it will check the actual IP address with the MAC IP address, and if they don't match, it'll drop the packet. It won't let any information be sent back and forth. If it does match, it will allow it. So you can see here that this right here is different than this. So that's why it will not allow it. But if you look at one that will... Oh, I think I have that mixed up. Huh. I got that a little mixed up there. Alright, where does DHCP snooping store leased IP addresses from untrusted hosts? So that's where you get all the information, and you get that from the DHCP binding database, which is right here. So the switch will store untrusted hosts with leased IP addresses in the DHCP binding database. Will a switch drop or accept a DHC pre-release packet? It will drop, and then you can see that answer right here, that it will drop it. Does dynamic ARP inspection use the DHCP binding database? That is correct, it does. And the ARP inspection will match an IP address with other packet details, the MAC address. And let's talk about this. I got it mixed up somehow. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and look at this to double check, just to kind of understand that a little better. But overall, I'd say it was a pretty hard room because I got stumped on in task 4. That one was kind of hard to get past. So or is task 5, but eventually got past it. Had to look up the answer. But yeah, this was a fun class. It was very challenging. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 just because it was a little too challenging with the provided information they had. But there we go.